This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(1:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Danishka Madhawala and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The government has focused its main attention from this year's budget to rural needs. Income from migrant workers has increased. First batch of tourists will arrive in the country by next week. Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says the government will resume international charter flights from next Saturday. Construction of Sri Lanka's first liquefied natural gas power plant will begin in January. Sri Lanka is to strengthen bilateral relations between Thailand and Indonesia. News overseas, Joe Biden says no time to waste as climate team unveiled. In sports, Messi equals Pele record with 643rd goal for a single club. And those are the headlines. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force in charge of economic revival and poverty eradication, Basu Rajapaksa, says that the government has focused its main attention from this year's budget to rural needs. Almost all the sectors have severely affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The tourism industry has collapsed. There is a slight increase from the income of migrant workers. Around 34% increase has been reported from the income of the migrant workers during the last month. The government is focused its attention to generate new income sources through seeking new business venues. The country was able to gain more than 1 billion export income during the month of September. Mr. Basu Rajapaksa was speaking at a Gama Samaka Pili Sandakara program held at Badulla Uvallasa University recently. The first batch of tourists will arrive to Sri Lanka after opening the airport is scheduled to reach during next week. Authorities say that all arrangements have been made in this regard. It contains around 200 Russian tourists. Both Mattala and Katunayake airports will be disinfected. Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says the government will resume international charter flights from December 26, nearly 8 months after they were closed due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Initially, we will permit tourists to visit Sri Lanka via charter flights and hope to resume commercial flights next month. Voicing his concerns to the local press, he said that they have called upon the health authorities to advise them on how they should handle the movements of tourists who will arrive on charter flights. The minister added that the health authorities will give its final approval to the program on tomorrow. He said they have called upon the health authorities to initially permit charter flights and thereafter monitoring the progress with amendments. We will resume commercial flights operations. Minister Ranatunga said all arrangements have been made to resume charter flights from December 26. According to the program, PCR tests on tourists will be done at the hotels before they are checked in. Those arriving on charter flights could visit Sri Lanka under a tour program. Each tourist will have to undergo a PCR test 72 hours before visiting Sri Lanka and one on arrival. After 5 to 7 days, they must do another PCR test. If the on-arrival PCR tests are negative, they can use travel bubbles to visit the areas they desire. When tourists visit archaeological sites such as Sigiriya or other important places, local tourists will not be permitted to visit such sites. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
Construction of Sri Lanka's first liquefied natural gas power plant will begin in January. Minister of Power Dalasala Peruma says that construction of first LNG power plant at Kerawalapitiya, Wattala is expected to be commissioned by Prime Minister in January. The minister further said different parties, different governments had different hopes for the people, but this government gave the people a completely different hope how to build a fossil fuel-free power plant sector. The minister went on to say the aim of the government is to increase the contribution of clean energy to 70% by 2030. Foreign Secretary Admiral Professor Jayanath Kolambage and State Secretary for Foreign Affairs of Romania, Colonel Feruca, held virtual bilateral foreign affairs consultations recently. A new roadmap for enhanced cooperation in prioritized sectors between Sri Lanka and Romania was identified at the third session of the Sri Lanka-Romania bilateral consultations. The head of the delegation of Sri Lanka and Foreign Secretary Admiral Professor Jayanath Kolambage announced the opening of the Sri Lanka Embassy in Romania next year and reaffirmed Sri Lanka's commitment to further consolidate the excellent bilateral engagement spanning 63 years since 1957. Foreign Secretary Kolambage also provided an overview of the economic and development priorities of the new government and highlighted the envisioned people-centric and knowledge-driven new beginning for Sri Lanka, recognizing the 21st century was defined by knowledge and innovation. Focusing on cooperation in the labour sector, State Secretary Feruca stated that despite the pandemic, Romania has continued to issue work permits to skilled and semi-skilled workers from Sri Lanka. He stated that only this week, 1,500 new work permits have been issued. There are currently over 8,000 Sri Lankan workers in Romania employed in the apparel, hospitality and construction sectors, with more skilled job opportunities opening up in other fields such as IT. Ambassador of Indonesia in Colombo, I. Gusti Gura, paid a courtesy call on Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Foreign Ministry on the 17th. During the discussion, the two dignitaries emphasized the need to further enhance trade ties in a mutually beneficial manner, while reiterating the long-standing multifaceted ties between the two countries. Minister Gunawardena appreciated the strong friendship and assistance rendered by Indonesia during the difficult times faced by Sri Lanka in the past. Ambassador Gusti Gura Aryadas expressed his gratitude towards the government of Sri Lanka for the assistance rendered towards the repatriation of Indonesian nationals in the recent past during the height of the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Ambassador of Thailand in Sri Lanka, Chulamani Chatsuwan, also paid a courtesy call on Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena on the 17th of this month and discussed ways of working closely in regional and international fora with a view to facilitate enhanced business cooperation. Thai Ambassador further reiterated that both countries have taken a common position in BIMSTEC and is looking forward to work with Sri Lanka and hopeful that the summit will be held soon in Sri Lanka. Trade and investment policies in the present day in Thailand open up investment opportunities for Sri Lanka. The ambassador noted that the Thailand investors are keen to commence an investment project on sugar plantation in Vavuniya, which is underway. Minister Gunawardena stated that Sri Lanka will make the maximum use of the strategic economic partnership to widen the business links between Sri Lanka and Thailand. And that's local news.
Darling, our daughter has top O-level results. Do you know what this means?
Yes, just 3 years and she'll be going abroad for her degree.
For which we'll need a bank loan.
But is a normal loan the smartest option?
What else?
The smartest way is to start an HDFC Smart Goals account.
Let your child begin their degree with no delays. Start an HDFC Smart Goals account. Call 2356 888.
Honey, you're so smart.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Justice Minister Ali Sabri said that the Sri Lanka will seek technical expertise from China to construct a large prison complex in Horana on an accelerated project. He refuted allegations that China will fund the project. The minister said that the proposed facility in the outskirts of Colombo could house a large number of prisoners with many facilities. The prison will be built on a 250-acre land to accommodate convicts and remandees, and a rehabilitation centre with recreational facilities. And that came to you in Top News.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
State Minister Arundhika Fernandez says the permission should be taken to cut coconut trees is needed hereafter. The price of coconut has been increased due to utilizing the coconut trees for industries. Permission has also been given to import coconut to meet the demand for coconut oil production. And that came to you in Watch Light. And moving on to world news. Headlines, Joe Biden says no time to waste as climate team unveiled. WHO in close contact with the UK over new variant. Chile's President Sebastian fined for no mask selfie. And those are the headlines. US President-elect Joe Biden has introduced his climate and energy team, saying they will lead an ambitious plan to combat climate change. Mr. Biden has vowed to make this issue a top priority in an agenda that reverses many Trump administration policies. He said there was no time to waste. If confirmed by the Senate, the team will include the first black man to run the Environmental Protection Agency and the first Native American cabinet member. The World Health Organization has said it is in close contact with the UK officials over the emergence of a new variant of COVID-19. The new strain is spreading more rapidly than the original version, but is not believed to be more deadly. Large parts of the southeast England, including London, are now under a new strict level of restriction in a bid to curb the rapidly spreading virus. The Netherlands said it was banning UK flights because of a new strain. The ban comes into force on Sunday, that's today, and will remain in place until 1st January. Chilean President Sebastian Pinera has been fined $3,500 for breaching coronavirus rules by posing for a selfie with no face mask. Mr. Pinera apologized after the photo of him with a woman, also without a mask, went viral earlier this month. The president admitted he would have worn a mask when the woman requested a photo on a beach near his home in the town of Cachagua. Chile has strict rules about wearing masks in public. Violations of the mask law are punishable with penalties that include fines and even jail terms. And that's world news. And moving on to development news, State Minister for Money and Capital Market and State Enterprise Reforms, Ajit Nivar Cabral, expresses belief that foreign investors will return to the capital market when growth momentum builds up in the second half of the next year, encouraging more new listings in the Colombo Stock Exchange. He added that he is keen to see new listings in the stock exchange as the growth momentum picks up mid-next year, which will be a shot in the arm for capital market growth. The capital market bounced back, recording high turnovers in the past 2 months since the global pandemic's investor appetite in March. And that's development news. And moving on to sports. Golf, Tiger Woods and his 11-year-old son, Charlie, are 4 shots off the lead after the first round of the 2-day exhibition event in Florida yesterday. Team Woods opened the PNC Championship with a 10 under par 62 that left them in a share of 6th place. Soccer, Lionel Messi equaled Brazil legend Pele's record of 643 goals for a single club by scoring for Barcelona in Saturday's draw against Valencia. The Argentine 33 achieved the feat with a diving header just before halftime, immediately after his penalty was saved by keeper Jaume Domenci. Messi scored his the first goal for Barca in 2005 against Albacete. And that's sports news. And in business news, World Bank said that oil prices defined as an average of Brent West Texas Intermediate and Dubai prices are expected to rise to an average of $44 per barrel next week. And it will be $50 a barrel in 2022, up from expected $41 in 2020. And that's business news.
Economic news, courtesy of
Business Deals, now easy. It just takes a few taps only. Anytime, get it done, all connected. Best discounts with real time. LOLC Real Time. Now download LOLC Finance Real Time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and no benefits.
Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman said the central bank will play a pivotal role in guiding the revival of the economy and placing it on a sound footing to facilitate sustained growth, and there are the responsibilities of the entire policy establishment led by fiscal and monetary authorities. He was speaking on the role of the central bank in rebuilding the economy. He said the central bank's role in this is as the Monetary Law Act dictates to maintain economic and price stability and financial system stability while promoting economic growth and employment through the manipulation of availability and cost of funds. And that's economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, in the weather report, the Met Department says the northeast monsoon conditions have been established over the island. Showers or thunderstorms will occur at times in northern, eastern, north central and Uva provinces and in Matale and Nuwara and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunderstorms will occur at several places in Sabaragamuwa province and in Kalutara, Galle, Matara and Kandy districts after 2 p.m. And before we wind up this news podcast, let's look at the main points once again. The government has focused its main attention from this year's budget to rural needs. Income from migrant workers has increased. First batch of tourists will arrive in the country by next week. Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says the government will receive international charter flights from next Sunday. Construction of Sri Lanka's first liquefied natural gas power plant will begin in January. Sri Lanka is to strengthen bilateral relations between Thailand and Indonesia. And with that, we conclude this afternoon news bulletin of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. It's back to Sound the Thumb to keep you company with the rest of the program this Sunday.